Will you laugh with me like you once laughed before? Sipping drinks, cracking jokes, and lying on my basement floor. Tell me if you're really living or if living still once more. I'll be your home. It makes artists who are doing music videos look non-awkward.
It does though.
Yeah, no, I absolutely hate doing music videos because whenever I have to do a performance shot, I'm like, dude, I just wish y'all could just give me some cool shots, some abstract shots. I don't have to look at the camera.
Well, dude, your the music videos, or at least the reels that you've been posting, like those look clean. They look natural, like a little too natural. I'm just like, wow, they really caught him in his element.
Yeah, no, I've been. Yeah, I always tell them, I was like, just keep the camera rolling, you know, because you just never know.
Honestly, anytime that like I'm doing any sort of shoot like that, it's when we're not actually planning the shot that the shot works the best.
Right. Yeah, candids, as they say.
Candid. That's funny. Well, that's a great opening to Futon Session interview, man.
Futon Session. We are back. We are here.
Welcome back. Didn't get to catch you right after the session. Poor planning on my part because I came up with an idea like a month afterwards. Yeah. But here we are, man. It's good to have you back. Like you were great in your videos. Like I'm
thanks.
Loving them. I'm hoping everyone else is loving them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of doing the Futon sessions? Like being on them to begin with?
Well, I mean, it was really exciting, first of all, because, you know, I'm rolling out this new project. And I remember you had messaged me a while back and I was just like, oh, I think that would go perfect because I'm always thinking about, oh, this will go great with the rollout and I get to be on someone's futon playing music. This sounds like a good idea. So I really didn't know what to expect, but when I was here with my friend Alex, who played keys.
Shout out to Alex.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex, for like the futon being so short. The dude's sitting here with like the keyboard way up high.
He was, and we got together the day before, rehearsed, and it was just magic. We were like, all right, what happens, happens. And it was a great time. I really loved it, and everything was really cool about it. So I'm excited for everyone to see it.
Yeah, it turned out great. Sounds beautiful. Like it's mint.
All thanks to you.
Bro, thank you for coming on. Yeah, I remember when I hit you up, I was like, you know, I try to get artists that have like at least some music out so that it's something to help them and I have somewhere to push anyone who views the videos. Because like there's no point of having someone on and getting the videos done of them if there's nowhere that I can push viewers to like keep continuing listening to the artist. Like I don't want to do that.
Right.
And I originally invited you on when I had issues with like plumbing in my basement, and then all of a sudden I had to push like 5 people back for 3 months, and then I hit you up again out of the blue. I'm like, yo, come back on. We're gonna do it.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Through rain, storm, and floods.
And it was perfect timing because like we started working on it in between your first and second singles that came out.
Yep. I mean, you're exactly right. Like that was another reason why I was sort of like a bit hesitant at first, because I knew I didn't have much to like offer if somebody wanted to listen more. But I was like, you know what? It could be a really great opportunity to introduce me because I'm very active on socials, and the full project's coming out in August. So I was like, this could be a really great opportunity for people to know me, to, you know, find Khalil and to just come along the journey. So I was really thankful for you for still having me.
Yeah, of course, man. And what's your plan with that whole project? Because you said your full project's coming out in August. Is it going to contain what you've already released or what?
Yeah. So I am rolling out a new single every month. I have one that just recently came out in April called I'll Be Yours, which we did on the Futon. And then I have one coming out in May called It's Over Now. And basically each of the singles lead up to the full release in August. Yeah. It's going to be a 7-track EP. Don't quote me. But, you know, it's going to be a 7-track EP, and it's just going to introduce folks to sort of my sound and a bit of my story. So I'm excited and nervous for that.
I'm paranoid, bro. When no one's behind the camera to double check, I'm like, I forgot everything. I didn't put an SD card in the camera. No, I did.
Right. It's like we have stopped. I hate when I'm recording on iPhone and then like I'll be doing something really great, and I'm like, yes, and I go and then I check it, and it's just
Recording started.
or to be like, you've reached your max storage.
No
I'm
storage
like,
on phone. That's awful. That is like the worst moment when you're a content creator, because like you get in the once you're out of the mood for content creation, you can't get yourself back into it.
It's so hard. It's so hard. I don't know how people who are like consistently pushing out content like every single day. I'm like,
well, actually, how do you do it? Because you put out like a lot of really good content, and I mean, some of it looks like it was all from the same shoot in the same day, but even still,
yeah. So Khalil is the artist, and then Jalen is actually a marketer. So I work in marketing full time, and I was like, you know what? I remember I was sitting at my desk one day, and I was like, I could really use these powers for my own stuff. So I did, and so I was able to partner with some amazing people for this first release. I did a shoot with a woman named Maddie, who's absolutely amazing. And then the video shoot I did with Liam Rose, shout out to him. And we just got together, did a bunch of different shots, and I was like, okay, I can work with this. I'll do a slow roll. Everybody's into pretty much, it's like, first it was like, oh, your videos need to be a minute long. Then it was like 30 seconds. 15 seconds. There's going to be no videos. It's just going to go back to pictures. So we were able to get like a lot of small clips just to build in excitement and anticipation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people loved it. And
I think it worked. The vibe, especially, like it whenever I was watching them, it almost gave like, not necessarily a noir feel, but like, I don't know, there was like a little bit of mystery and like dark anticipation to it that worked in your favor, especially because it matches the genre you're in. You're more R&B than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going for. The project is called Love Pain. So I was like, I don't want to give a happy feel. It doesn't. I'm going to lead people on to something they're not going to get on the project. Yeah. It was more so like, if you experienced heartache, this song is for you. So we wanted to create a visual, like, sort of environment and space where people, no matter where you were watching from, you could feel that. Mm-hmm. And so we did lots of like close-up shots. We shot at the sunset, which was very awesome. Liam made that call, and it was just it just worked out. We were able to get just a lot of shots in a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
That's a good feeling when you find content of yourself that like actually looks good, that you're proud of.
Yeah.
Because that's my biggest thing. I hate hearing my voice. I hate looking at my face.
Right.
But when you find it right, it's right.
Right. Oh man, yeah. We all had those videos back in the day. Man, I'm just like, what were you doing, young Jay? Like, what were you doing?
Speaking of which, Jalen, I've known you for almost a year, and the entire time you came out to the Creatives Open Mic that we have in Philly with Creatives Philly. You came out, introduced yourself as Khalil. Mm-hmm. I followed you on Instagram as Khalil, and I find out last week your name is Jalen, and I am mind blown. You've built this persona so well, and you didn't even have music out for that persona.
Yeah, he exists in a different universe. No, it's actually a really funny story. So I have been doing music my whole life, actually. I just hadn't gotten to the point where I mustered up the courage and honestly had the time to start actually rolling it out for others. But I've been songwriting for other artists. Music runs in my family for a long time. And for a while, I was under the stage name Jay Boone. And it sort of led people back to me. And one of the most awkward things that would happen is people at my job would find me. And I would be like, okay, I would prefer a separation between work and play. And so I'm like, I want to create something where, it's not so easily tied to my government, but also, that it's, a bit cool. And I wanted to create a character almost that was not Jalen, because Jalen is very like shy, like he's very organized, very like type A, like he doesn't do a lot of like revealing or talking about his story. He's not emotional. And I was like, I want a character who is not afraid of any of those things, who's willing to share every part of his story, because he knows someone else needs to hear it, who's adventurous, who's cool. And Khalil was created, which is actually my middle name. My middle name is Khalil Amaru.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
You have two middle names or
two middle names, Black
okay,
parents.
that makes way more sense now because I was like, all right, that's cool, but like, how do you get Khalil out of jail?
Right. So yeah, my full name is Jalen Khalil Amaru Boone. And I just snatched it out the middle and I was like, this works, shout out to you, mom and dad.
It's clean. Like, that's a great artist name to begin with, though,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. So that's the story of that.
That's funny. That's really funny. Oh man. So you were talking about music's been in your family forever. I know you told me a little bit about it, but maybe like refresh my memory. I think you were talking about your grandfather even working on like studio stuff back in the day.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty special and an important part of why I do music. It really does run in my blood. Like my grandfather was a musician. My dad is a musician. And it was really special. I recently got to, for his birthday, spend some time with him. And one of the, we're often as like marketers creating like these sort of like personas, but then we also have like themes and then like images that guide sort of how we build out a reality. So for this project, the picture was like the theme or like the picture for the project was actually a cassette tape. So this project, Love Pains, is actually a retro soul project. And when people hear I'll Be Yours, you hear that initial tape being loaded in, and it just starts the rest of the project. And so I had bought one, right? And like I just had it with me because I was going to use it as a prop in a photo shoot. And then my dad comes downstairs and he like, who's this? And I was like, that's mine. And he's like, wow, can I, like, what? You have cassettes? And I was just like, no, I just honestly bought it as a prop. He then goes to his garage and pulls out multiple bags of cassette tapes. Like, it was just insane. Like, and he's pulling out tapes from like the 90s of him and his father making music. And me getting to hear that with him was just so special because it reminded me of why I do what I do. It just, like we truly are an artistic family. I have parents who are like, I went to an Ivy League grad school and they're like, congratulations, when are you going to do music? So
that's the opposite.
It's like, so I've always been pushed in that way, and it just feels special to now be able to do this, and to carry that legacy of my grandfather, who was doing music during the Motown era. We're originally from Detroit, Ypsilanti, Michigan. Wow. And so he was around a lot of heavy hitters, Jackson 5. I mean, you just like, and they were just all just doing music for the love of music. And it was a really great time being able to hear those tapes back with him.
Yeah. That's the way you got to approach music. You got to be in it for the love of it. I don't know how many artists I'm seeing these days that like they make it and then they're just like, yeah, I am a strange 1% that's actually making it as an artist, making money from it.
Yeah.
And I think with all of that in mind, you're someone that's you seem to be very good at investing in yourself, investing in your artistry. Like you've put a lot of time into it, but you've also put a lot of capital. Like you've invested in the photographers, videographers, sound, like even like any future shows, like you're going to be hosting your own release show. All of that. I'm not sure what to ask with that, but do you feel your investment's worth it?
No, I think that I understand what you're saying, because something that I come across a lot, especially after spending some time working with artists, being a bit behind the scenes, is that a lot of folks come into this industry with this sort of like objective of becoming, some viral hit overnight. They come in giving themselves 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks is up and they've had their first release and they go to their Spotify and they find, oh my gosh, no one's listening to my song. Or like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how this is landing with people. When they're unaware of how their music is impacting others, they give up. Yeah. They stop. But there's this sort of adage that they say in the tech world, which is like trash in, trash out. If you don't invest time, capital, and energy, I mean, you're going to get exactly what you put in it out. And so when I started this project, I knew I wanted to be in a place where everyone that I worked with, from the engineers to the photographers, each one of them, whether it was from a massive budget or even just a, can I take you out to eat, that they were honored by me paying them.
Yeah.
Because what artists don't realize is that actually what carries you are relationships.
Yeah.
And like your music can be really great. And there are lots of artists that I hear and come across all the time on Spotify or Apple Music. And I'm just like, and I'm sure you've had this before and you're like, how are they not, how are they not big at this point?
Yeah.
And then you got artists like Tyla coming out of nowhere, artists like Billie Eilish, just these quote unquote overnight talents who had been working actually so long before that, who had been investing time and energy. And they had just only got exposed to other people, to the rest of the world when it was their time to sprout up. I love what Victoria Monet, who is the recent Grammy winner for Best New Artist, she was like, I spent so much time in Hollywood and I've been, expanding my roots. I've been under the dirt. It's not like I'm a new artist. I've been doing this for a long time. She's like, now is just the time that I'm breaking ground and I'm starting to blossom and other people are seeing. She's been in the industry 10 plus years, and so I'm not going to give myself 2 weeks with an expectation to be Billie Eilish or somebody.
Yeah.
I have to be in it for the long haul. And if that's the case, then I have to believe in my gift regardless of what other people think about it.
That's amazing. That's something that I think every artist needs to hear about, the investment in themselves. Because you're right. It's so easy to give yourself 2 weeks. Like even in content creation, like with the Futon sessions, like it's real easy to feel discouraged when one video doesn't pop off. But it's like it's one video. Right. You're still in the process of building. But for artists especially, that 2 weeks to grow. Yes, you need time to grow, but you need more than 2 weeks to grow. There's I think. Anytime you look at it, anytime there's a one-hit wonder, anyone who does the 2 week blow up, they're a one-hit wonder. Like it's cool. You got that 2 week blow up, but you die off real quick. Like I can't even name anyone whose song was like big on TikTok or whatever last week because they had that blow up, but they died just as fast. There is a big pop, little sizzle.
Right. And you find that there are folks who are actually smart enough to know how to use viral moments. That's an issue as well, is people are creating content with the hope and sort of like anticipation that one of these is going to hit. The algorithm's going to pick me up and their Instagram, TikTok's going to push me out. But the real question you should ask yourself is, what am I going to do when that happens? And I think a really great model for this, there's an artist named Jake, and he substitutes his A for a V, but he started on TikTok making beats with his mom during the pandemic. And his mom didn't make any of the beats. He would make them, but it would be cool to see
there.
Right. It'd be cool to see, his mom.
He
just
loves his mom. All right, that's cool.
You got this sort of white suburban mom just producing these trap beats. Like, it was great content. And it exploded, and he created a song called Golden Hour. And like Alicia Keys sung it in her concert. Like it just went everywhere. But then after that, he was able to build from that with understanding, optimizing, and redoing it again with a different song and then a different song. And this guy's like independent. He's like I'm not moving to LA, New York. I think he stays in some random state on the East Coast with his parents. Like I think his dad's a pastor. Like it's just so, he's doing it independently from the comfort of his home. And a lot of artists are envious of that. But what they don't realize is that he just took advantage of the moment. And so it's like, don't chase viral moments. Understand how you can build off of the last thing you did and what you're going to do if that moment comes.
Yeah, that's true. Like finding the way to seize the moment when you have it is very important to do. And it's hard to figure out how to do it. Yeah. I mean, you're in the marketing business, so like, a little bit better than some people. So that's helpful. Yeah. I mean, organically, your growth already has been incredible. Like I know people who have been around for years who have a following, and they'll release a single, and in the same amount of time they won't get half of the listens or people like following them that you have. You've done really well. I was bringing it up to a friend of mine the other day, like, yeah, I had this guy Khalil on, check him out. And he looks you up and he's like, he has a lot of listens for one song. He's like, yeah, the dude knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's actually. So I was again back in my parents' house in Texas, just like the last week, and my dad was just so excited. He was just like, he was like, oh my God, you're almost at 10,000 streams. And for me, I was so like, I'm so towards this next release that I completely forgot there's such a thing as people listening to me. And when you go into Spotify for artists, it's a really cool feature that they have where you can see who's listening, and it's like X amount of people listening. I just log on, it's like 8 people listening to your song. And that's a small number, but what it did to me was just such a boost to know that somewhere, somehow, somebody is listening to my music right now. And I don't even know who they are. I think that that's the best feeling, is like, I just expected when people were like, especially my marketing friends, they were like, what were your targets for the first release? I was like, honestly, I had no targets. I just wanted to release the freaking track. And just, I mean, I think the big thing was like, I wanted to grow my audience on Instagram. I wanted 100 new followers. I have literally doubled and tripled everything.
Hey.
So it's like, it's insane the amount of growth that has happened in such a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. But I think it goes to, again, the preparation, like being able to talk with people earlier, creating a PR strategy for myself, like getting a write-up early on my single, and meeting a lot of playlisters that I started relationships with years ago who were like, we're ready for you whenever you're ready, was just integral to the process that I think a lot of artists aren't clued into when they're, because the business is, and you know this, nowadays it's like 90% marketing, 10% the actual song. It's like, it's sad, you know, that it's like that, but like, that's what it is. And, you know, you see labels promoting people more than there's actual music.
That's true. Honestly, you don't think about it, but it's true. Because a name is more recognizable than a song. Like, you're naming a lot of artists, and I'm like, I know that name. I couldn't tell you a single song by them.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, what artist do you want to be? Do you want to be the one who creates timeless music? I don't know about what you listen to, but I still play Stevie Wonder. I still play Nina Simone. I mean, I play records that have continuously, Coco Jones, a really amazing R&B artist, just sampled a song. They're sampling songs that are timeless. And it's like, when I think about the music I want to create timeless music. I don't want to create a persona to where people just remember that instead of the music that I created. You know?
Because there are artists out there, whenever you say their name, so much floods into your mind that you can't even think of just one song. And that's a good place to be, honestly. And that's a really good thought that you have about focusing on the artistry, not necessarily as much the single, like building your name, because your name is everything in this.
Yeah, it is.
With that in mind, do you feel like the pre-roll advertisement or the post advertisement is more important for releasing?
Ooh, good question. All right, I think Jalen's gonna have to answer this.
Welcome, Jalen, to the podcast.
Hello, everyone. I honestly, to be completely honest, I think that it depends on the artist. For me, if I'm marketing, say Adele, it's all the anticipation. Like, and if you notice, whenever, I don't know how old she is, that'll be the next album, whatever her age is. So 30 something. Whenever that comes, you'll notice her team will do a lot of anticipation. Because she already holds a captive audience who's like hungry, who's desperate for more Adele. And so she can do a lot of that, invest a lot on the pre-roll. But then you have artists who are new, like me, who, like, you know, before the release, this was my first release, and this is a great tip for artists who are doing a first release. Your first release is going to go out to the audience that you've had before you were even who you are as an artist. So like your friends, your family, my audience, I switched my profiles from Jalen to Khalil. So my audience is still Jalen. They know me from work, from church, from all these different places. I haven't really captured a new audience.
Right.
One for Khalil. That happens a lot after the release. So I've put a lot on promoting the songs that are released afterwards, because I know Spotify is connecting me with new listeners. I know Apple is connecting me with new listeners, and I know they're going to come to my profile. And so if they're going to come to my profile, odds are they're going to want to see some, content that's more nuanced than just, oh, this is coming out soon. They're like, I've already experienced it. What's next? So like, I would say it depends on the artist to me and where they're situated. But yeah, the queens of pre-roll are like Adele, Beyonce. They do anything. Like her Super Bowl commercial was just, or Taylor Swift posted one little graphic of her album cover, and it's like everybody went insane. So like,
I think that's important to think about though. Like you got to think about your size as your artistry, and then like your audience in general. That is an important thought, because I've seen a lot of people like, why even advertise until the song is out, because you've got nowhere to push them. Like someone can see that and be like, oh cool, yeah, I'll listen to that. And then if they don't follow, don't comment, don't like, they don't leave anything to come back to, or any way for you to pop up for them again, they're lost forever, and they're never going to hear that song.
Yeah, no, that's true. Sometimes, to be honest with you, man, I when I first started, I was nervous about like advertising to anyone, because I know the impending question that all new artists know and understand so well, because we get it every single day. That question was going to come. What else you have? And let me tell you why that's such a, excuse my French, shitty question. Because most of us, I don't know how, maybe those overnight beat makers, I don't know what they do, but some of us who have composed music, like I had, man, that first song, we did so many different things on it. And this next one has like a whole string section. For most of us, it took us months to develop the song. But what artists have to realize about listeners is they're impatient. Like, they don't care. Like, and so when you have it, they want more. And so I was cognizant of that, which was why another really huge tip for new artists was I finished pretty much the project before I started releasing the first one.
Yeah.
And you know this, because when you get on the roll, people are going to be like, oh, I'm excited. I want the next Futon session. Like, when's the next thing? When's the next thing? And it's so frustrating, especially for creatives who have put so much energy into something. But that's why you build the space and time. And so, like, it is definitely, it's definitely tough. But, they say you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yep.
That's the quote of the episode. Fail to plan, plan to fail.
That's right. Exactly.
Dang, I like that. I think, speaking of looking forward and ways to reconnect with fans and listeners, how can everyone listen to you going forward at this point?
Yeah. Well, I am now on all listening platforms, Spotify, Apple. You can follow me on Instagram at Khalil.Amaru. And yeah, I'll be releasing music, like I said, every month until August. And yeah, just follow along, tap in, DM me, I talk back, I reply.
That's how I got him on.
Yeah, that's right. So, yep.
Links will be in the description anywhere that you can check him out. I'll try to include as many different links, or like a link tree or something if I can. But Khalil, thank you so much for coming on, man. The Futon sessions in general, like your two sessions they sounded absolutely beautiful. You and your guy sounded so good together.
Oh, thanks, man.
Can't wait to see what you got in the future. Like, I know we're going to be working together on some more projects already planned in the future. And I'm excited to see what else might come out of it too.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. All right.
Woo!
The daisies don't bloom no more. All is evil and dust.